Today, we're diving straight into the physical claims and hard evidence surrounding the legendary 1947 Roswell incident. Now, we aren't just talking about mysterious lights in the sky here. No, we're hunting for tangible, physical proof. We're looking at the possibility of actual alien metal.
You know, for decades, we've all looked up, searching for flying saucers. But what if the ultimate proof of extraterrestrial visitation is literally buried right beneath our feet? Let's examine some physical artifacts and modern geological tests that might just flip the official Roswell narrative entirely on its head.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, the Roswell skip site. Then, the 1947 debris field, unearthing the metal fragments, checking out some other physical anomalies, and finally, diving into X-ray fluorescence testing. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The Roswell Skip Site. Okay, so our investigation kicks off just outside Roswell at a spot locals referred to as the Skip Site. Back in 2019, investigators headed out there to examine what eyewitnesses claimed was the exact location where a UFO struck the Earth, skipped like a stone across the dirt, and bounced back into the air. And what's absolutely fascinating is this gouge that was left behind. A 2002 archaeological dig actually confirmed a distinct V-shaped furrow, which strongly indicates a heavy object literally skated across the ground at incredibly high speeds.
Section 2. The 1947 debris field.
To really grasp why scientists are out there digging today, we have to rewind to the immediate aftermath of a massive thunderstorm in early July 1947. This timeline brilliantly lays out the sheer chaos of those events. You've got rancher Mac Brazel finding this bizarre debris. The Army issues a jaw-dropping press release on July 8th, flat out claiming they captured a flying saucer. But then, literally the very next day, they pull a massive U-turn and say, actually, it was just a weather balloon.
I mean, just look at the stark contrast between these two official statements. One day, you have Colonel Blanchard issuing an order stating they possess a flying disc. Less than 24 hours later, General Ramey steps up and insists it's just a weather balloon. It's this exact whiplash that fueled what so many consider the best documented cover-up in human history.
But here is where modern technology gives us a totally new perspective. During that revised press conference, a photographer snapped a picture of General Ramey holding a memo. Well, modern researchers digitally zoomed in and enhanced that image to extract the text. And wow, it is stunning. The memo literally uses the phrase victims of the wreck. You know, that definitely shatters the whole weather balloon story, right?
Section 3. Unearthing the metal fragments.
So all of that historical context really set the stage for geologist Frank Kimbler. Using metal detectors and infrared tech along the craft's supposed trajectory, he spent the last decade digging up these tiny, highly unique metal fragments. We're talking about pieces so small the military cleanup crews likely just missed them. When closely examined, this metal was pristine, incredibly layered, and violently mangled. As a geologist, Kimbler says he's never seen anything quite like this material before in his life.
Section 4. Other physical anomalies.
Before we take those metal fragments into the lab, we've got to touch on a few other physical anomalies tied to this exact area. Take the Roswell Rock, for example. Found by Robert Ridge back in 2004, it was discovered just 11 miles from the crash site. It's this small, magnetic stone with a bizarrely perfect celestial sun and moon design that actually protrudes out from the surface. A 3D CAT scan proved it's not carved or painted on. It's a genuine, solid part of the rock itself.
And here's where it gets just plain weird. Researchers realized that this protruding pattern is an exact match to a crop circle that appeared in southern England in 1996. That is 8 years before the rock was even discovered. It's led some to suggest this universal pattern might have been left near the crash site as a kind of astronomical breadcrumb for us to find.
Adding a completely different kind of physical evidence is the deeply personal story of Sergeant Melvin E. Brown. He was on guard duty during the 1947 military cleanup. And on his deathbed, nearly 40 years later, he finally broke his silence. He told his family he peeked into the back of the military flatbed trucks and saw 2 bodies that were definitively not human. Deathbed confessions like this carry immense weight, adding a really profound layer to the mystery.
Section 5. X-ray fluorescence testing.
Okay, so the crucial question is, what happens when we throw rigorous, modern science at those tiny metal fragments from the skip site? Investigators took them over to the Theta Plate lab. They used an advanced X-ray fluorescence machine.
It's a pretty straightforward process. You hit the fragment with an X-ray beam, and the machine identifies its exact elemental makeup. It literally breaks down the physical reality of the object right in front of you.
The lab results popped up, and they revealed a highly unusual combination. I mean, sure, they found standard metals, iron and copper, but then it got weird. The machine detected selenium, which is common in modern semiconductors, inside a wire fragment. And in the metal alloys, trace impurities of zirconium and molybdenum. These are elements you just simply do not expect to see alloyed together like this.
So why is this so shocking? Well, finding semiconductor elements in a wire buried out in the desert is strange enough on its own. But the zirconium? That's the real smoking gun here. According to a declassified 1949 metallurgical study from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which, by the way, is the exact location the Roswell debris was reportedly taken, military scientists also discovered zirconium in their crash metals. It is a direct material match.
And it's not just the chemistry, right? It's the physical history of the metal itself. Frank Kindler points out that these fragments exhibit something called explosive cratering. Basically, under a microscope, you can see distinct physical deformations proving this material didn't just slowly rust away in the dirt. It survived a severe, intense blast, which is exactly what you'd expect from a craft exploding and skipping across the desert floor.
To cap the whole thing off, as the lab tested more and more pieces, a stunning pattern emerged. These tiny, mangled fragments were found scattered across different locations over several years. Yet almost all of them shared this exact same, highly unusual elemental makeup. The consistency here is just undeniable.
Which leaves us with this final thought. We've got a massive physical gouge in the Earth, contradictory cover-ups, mysterious magnetic rocks, deathbed confessions, and blasted, anomalous metal fragments that perfectly match a classified 1949 Air Force study. If this hard evidence buried in the dirt so clearly contradicts the official weather balloon story, what truly crashed in the New Mexico desert? And who did that metal belong to?